Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Fantasy Premier League with FPL Wizard. I hope you all fine. I hope you all having a great season. I hope you all doing well. And we're at this critical juncture of the season, guys, where the fixtures are coming so thick and fast, and the players are not being able to cope up. The injuries are kind of mounting up, and especially if you own players from those teams which are playing in the Premier League as well as in Europe, it's kind of slowly becoming difficult. And on top of all of that, it has been our woes have been compounded by a blank game week in game week 12, in which like two of the top two teams like Arsenal and Manchester City, they've blank, and everybody almost owns three City players and at least one Arsenal player. So on top of that, we're kind of in a mud a little bit, with Mitrovic being injured, with Reece James being injured, and so I mean there's lots of things to be discussed ahead of game week 12, and whether to kind of just try and ride this game week or to kind of make transfers, and which player to prioritize. Kind of which should you first transfer out Mitrovic, should you transfer out James? Fortunately, I had a good last game week, so this was my score. I started Mitrovic obviously, but he didn't come on, so Andreas came in for him. The Kevin De Bruyne to Foden transfer paid off. Obviously, Madison, Leon Bailey to Madison didn't pay off so much, but I was pretty happy with what I managed to do last week. The Pope Pope transfer on my wildcard is kind of every week it seems less less exciting, but I guess I have to stick with this keeper until game week 16 now, so hoping for the best he can give me some return. Anyways, yeah, guys, not wasting too much time on this. I'm gonna come back to my to my team, and I'm gonna start answering your questions. I still haven't made my transfer, guys. The plan is to make one transfer. I think I'm gonna transfer out Reece James. I'm going to keep Mitrovic. I'm going to transfer out Reece James, but for who, you gotta kind of wait until the last 15 minutes to find out, because still I have three options which I'm kind of weighing up, and I'll make my transfer. I'll try to leave it as late as possible. The options are obviously Brighton, Spurs and Crystal Palace. Obviously one option is to just keep James and play Nico Williams, but I'm not sure if Nico Williams is going to play because Serge Aurier is into the contention. So I think I'm going to take out James anyway, because the injury seems to be long term, and they're saying he's even a doubt for the World Cup for England, so there's no point in keeping Reece James, I guess. That's the reason, but for whom, you guys just gonna have to wait and watch, guys. So with this out of the way, let me come back and start answering your questions. Hey Barry, hey Smellywab, hey SH, Sam, United, Salmon, Jugs, Sushant, Abhijit. I hope you're all doing well, guys. SH says, hello, how are you? I'm fine, my friend. United says, Dunk or Doherty? Well, that's the $1 million question, my friend. The thing is, there's this guy on Twitter called Paul O'Keefe. He is actually a journalist who kind of covers Tottenham. He expects Doherty to start the next two. FPL Sam asked him a question on Twitter, and he replied that he expects Doherty to start the next two. So if you're really in for a kind of an exciting move, you want to take a bit of a gamble, you want to get an attacking player, then obviously Doherty is the man to go for. If you just want to play safe for a player who just plays 90 minutes in every game week, irrespective of the fixture, just you have to go for a Dunk then. There's no right answer here. Both have got good fixtures. If you expect Doherty to start even after the two fixtures, then definitely can go for Doherty. Gehi or Cody? To be honest with you, I think Everton has got good fixtures after the Spurs game, and let me just show you here. People are not considering their players, but if you look at their fixtures, guys, I mean Newcastle, Crystal Palace. I mean that is the reason I got Nathan Patterson, but unfortunately got injured. Otherwise, it would have been so easy to navigate these these fixtures. But sometimes these things happen. What can you do? Newcastle, Palace, Fulham, Leicester, Bournemouth. I mean, all the fixtures are really good until 16. So, I mean, you can go with Cody, but you have to be kind of, have to be kind of wary that he doesn't get many attacking returns. So it's just going to be for the clean sheets that you're going to get Cody for. The same's with Gehi, though, to be honest with you. You can get an odd goal, Gehi, but hey Jugs, I hope you're fine, bro. Sushant says replacement for James, 6.1 total funds available. Well, Sushant, to be honest with you, let me take you to the fantasy football fix. Let me take you to the fixture planner. Let me show you the fixtures, guys. I think this is the best way to do it, rather than me just yeah. So the defense difficulty. So I hope you can see my screen. Yeah, there you can. So you can see, according to fantasy football fix, Crystal Palace has the best defensive fixtures from game week 11 to game week 16, which includes Wolves at home, Southampton at home, Nottingham Forest away, Everton away, and West Ham away. Game week 11 they've got Leicester. So according to fantasy football fix, the best team for defensive fixtures from game week 11 to game week 16 is Palace. Number 2 is Spurs, and they've got 3 or 4 home fixtures, out of which they've got Everton, Newcastle, Liverpool, Leeds, and then they've got Manchester United away and Bournemouth. The only thing that might be putting you off of a Spurs defender is the fixture in game week 12, because this is the game week in which Arsenal and City are blanking, so you might be kind of wanting a good fixture here. Because you have to play the player which you get in this game week, right? So this might be putting you off. But if you're getting a player for the longer term, guys, if you're not gonna wildcard him, I mean, if you don't have your wildcard, if you're not gonna wildcard in game week 13, and if you already have used your wildcard, I mean, you have to look seriously at a Spurs defender, because the fixtures are really, really good. I mean, you can look at least 3 clean sheets in the next 6 fixtures. I mean, that looks pretty good to me. And that is the reason I didn't pull the trigger. For my transfer. I'm still kind of at the back of my mind. I'm still thinking which Spurs player to go for, if whether to go for a Spurs player or not. But the clear options who are nailed on to start are Romero and Eric Dyer, but they are not obviously attacking. So if you want to get an attacking option, then obviously you have to go for somebody like Perisic or Matt Doherty, but they're both not nailed on. So there's kind of trade-off here. Either you get a more exciting attacking player, or you get the more reliable 90 minutes starting player. So you have to decide. Fulham have got good fixtures, but I don't think we gonna get a Fulham defender, obviously. Brighton again, you might have seen on social media, so many people are going for Brighton defenders, for example, Dunk, Webster, and so on and so forth. The reason for this is because, especially I think they're targeting this game week 12 fixture in which they're playing against Nottingham Forest at home. So I think people are currently focusing on the short term rather than thinking about Manchester City and Chelsea, because these 2 fixtures we obviously expect Brighton to concede. So basically, the people who are getting Brighton defenders are getting them for these 2 fixtures. Even Brentford is not the easiest fixture, especially away from home, right? And this is the fixture they're getting Dunk or Webster for, basically. And then they've obviously got Aston Villa and Wolves. So I expect them to get 2 clean sheets. Spurs, I expect to get 3 clean sheets at least, So obviously Leicester has some good fixtures as well, but it's at this moment in time, Leicester, I mean, they lost to Bournemouth last week, and it's absolutely abysmal, to be honest with you. I'm not sure how many clean sheets they can keep, although the fixtures look good. Crystal Palace, Leeds, Wolves, Everton. Obviously there's a Manchester City. Anyways, but you can have a look. If you want, you can take a screenshot. I'll just bring you back to this screen later on after I answer your questions. But just keep this in mind, guys. So let me go back and answer your questions now. Alright, are you rolling your transfer? I don't think I'm going to be rolling my transfer, my friend. I think I'm going to be transferring out Reece James. Who I'm going to get in place of Reece James is still up in the air. Why is Perisic not talked about as much as Doherty? The reason why Perisic is not talked about much is because he's not nailed on to start. The second thing is, even if Perisic starts, he is not going to play 90 minutes. That is the issue. He's going to play 70 minutes at max. So I think at this moment in time, with all the uncertainties surrounding different players, I think people are looking at players who are like more. If they start, at least they play 90 minutes. That is the reason. I mean, Doherty is kind of a risk, to be honest with you, because I'm not sure after coming back from injury after such a long time, he can play 3 games in the space of 1 week, because next game week is a midweek. So 3 game weeks in 1 week, I think is going to be too hard for Doherty to play, to be honest with you. Just hang on. Yeah, Neko Williams or Estupian. I think, if you have him. James and Sofal out for Perisic and Dunk. Is this a good transfer? To be honest with you, Ashish, this obviously is a decent move to make. The thing with Perisic is, like, Tottenham is going to play 3 games in the space of 1 week. Do you really think Perisic at like 33 years old is going to start 3 games? I am not sure. That is the reason. Either you go for somebody like Romero or Eric Dyer, because they're centre backs. I think they can start 3 games in a week, you know. But if you want to take a risk, then and you have sufficient cover on the bench, then that definitely looks like a good move. Yeah. Barry says big problem with Triple City and Arsenal, and now James. Thinking either Ederson for Gaeta or maybe -4 for James. Barry, I think you can just. I mean, if you have Ward as your second keeper, I think you'd be just doing well to play Ward next week and put Ederson on the bench, because there's nothing to be done. I think keeper transfers at this moment in time do not make. I don't think you should make a keeper transfer. I think just transfer out James for somebody without a -4. To be honest with you, if you don't have Ward, then that might be a problem, because then you might have to either take a hit or just go without a keeper. To be honest with you, even going without a keeper is not the worst thing in the world, because keeper ceiling is not that high. Todd says KDB and Jesus or Kane and Madison. I'd say Todd, I mean, KDB and Jesus are both blanking next week, so I'd say Kane and Madison looks better to me. Even Spurs fixtures are really good, and I mean, they're both Kane and Madison are in good form. Jesus is also on 4 yellow cards, and he gets 1 yellow card and he's out for the next game anyway. So I'd say Kane and Madison for me, bro. FPL Sam says Dunk and Doherty or Solanke and Doherty. I'd say Solanke and Doherty, my friend, because we always prefer the attacking players, to be honest with you. It could also be Solanke and Dunk, but yeah, Solanke and Doherty seems fine to me, my friend. Yep, definitely, Anas. Estupian, I'd prefer Estupian. With Serge Aurier coming, Neko Williams is nowhere close to nailed on, so you have to consider that for sure. Anis says, should I keep Sterling? I think you should. If you go to Twitter, hang on, let me take you there rather than telling you. Let me just take you to Jump the Wave. Let me show you the predictions, guys. This is Manchester City. Yeah, let me just show you the Manchester City predictions first. Obviously, Ederson 100%, Cancelo 100%, Diaz 100%, Ake is 85, Rodri 96, Kevin De Bruyne 100, Bernardo Silva 100, Foden, Haaland, Grealish, Akanji. So, this very obvious players starting. The interesting one should be Chelsea, because nobody knows what's going to happen with Graham Potter. So let me show you the Chelsea predictions. So obviously, Kepa Arrizabalaga is expected to start over Mendy. He looks to have taken that position from him. Kukurea 84%, Koulibaly 81%. So you can see, I mean, even the fans are not sure with Chelsea. Chilwell 24%, Azpilicueta 94%, Chalobah 64%, Gallagher 32%. You can see the Chelsea fans are not even sure who's going to start, because they're not able to kind of second guess Graham Potter at the moment. Loftus-Cheek 81%. They're expecting Loftus-Cheek to start in place of Reece James. So I mean, could be a good punt. If Reece James is out for a longer term, I mean, Loftus-Cheek starts on the right wing back, could be a good punt. Jorginho 69, Kovacic 59, Mount is the only player except Kepa Arrizabalaga to get 100%. So, I mean, Havertz 41%, Aubameyang 74%. Sterling is still good enough, 88% according to the fans. So, I do expect Sterling to start this game. Right, guys. So let me go back to my screen. Excuse me. There you go. Hope you got your answer with regards to Sterling. What about James to Azpilicueta? I mean, if you want to go with Azpilicueta, definitely you can go with Azpilicueta. But I mean, do you really like those Chelsea fixtures? I mean, you know, like this got the Manchester United, Arsenal. You know, I mean, they're like not the hardest fixtures, but not the easiest either. So, Azpilicueta, the attacking returns are also limited. So, if you want to go with Azpilicueta, I think you should start now. So definitely there's no problems there, but the ceiling might be limited, my friend. CAV says, hi, I'm back again. If you have a weak defense, Neko, Williams, Henry and Mitrovic, which should you transfer first, defender or Mitrovic? I think you should transfer out a defender first. The reason is Mitrovic has started training. Even if he's not back this game week, I think there's still a possibility that he can play on Thursday. But with these defenders, I'm not sure if they're gonna play. You know, so if they're injured, you know, so priority lies with players who, you know, have a lesser chance of playing in the coming weeks. Lee says, which defender should I bring in? Chilwell, Castagna, or anybody else? Lee, what's your budget, bro? And then I'll tell you. Stupian is nailed, says WS. I think he should be nailed after Kukurea left. Who else plays? I think Stupian is pretty much. I mean, he doesn't play the entire games. He just plays 75, 65 minutes. So obviously he's not that nailed on. But if you own him, then it definitely makes sense to start him. You know, if you don't own him, then don't get him. Sushant says, is Saliba worth transferring in this week and keeping for the long term? Sushant, to be honest with you, Saliba obviously is a nailed on Arsenal defender. But to me, it doesn't make sense to kind of, you know, like bring him in this week and then, you know, if you have a good team for game week 12 and you can put Saliba on the bench, if you can afford to do that, then there's no problems there for me. But otherwise, I think you can bring him in after game week 13 or game week 12. GW11 says Azpilicueta isn't likely to play 3 games in a week. Potter might play Ruben Loftus-Cheek in one of these game weeks. Mitoma's looked sharp and that's a risk for Estupian. That is true. I agree with that. Mitoma, when he came on against Tottenham, he looked absolutely really good. He could have scored actually a couple of goals the way he was playing, Mitoma. So as I said, if you own Estupian, you can take a chance and start him. But if you don't own Estupian, then don't get him in. That is the thing. Lee says up 6.3 million for a defender. Honestly, Lee, I don't think there's any defenders in that price range I would personally consider. What I'm liking is the Spurs defense, in which again I've already mentioned Doherty and Perisic are rotation risks. Short term, Doherty might be starting for the next 2 games, but long term, not sure when Emerson Royal comes back how much Doherty is going to play. So if you kind of want to cover the Tottenham defense, you can get Eric Dyer or Romero. You know, that's the way to go, I think. CAV says, yeah, wasn't expecting Aurier to take Neko's place. Would you get rid of Emerson then or Neko? Also, options for 4.5 million or less, there are quite a few. Aurier isn't exactly going to take his place in the sense that I think they're going to rotate, because I don't think Aurier is fit enough to play 3 games in a week. You know, so Neko Williams is definitely going to get his chance. I'm hoping Aurier starts this game week, so Neko Williams gets his minutes in the blank game week. So at least we have 1 less player to worry about. But to be honest with you, if I was to get a 4.5 million or less, I would look at somebody like Castagna. I would look at somebody like Justin from Leicester. You know, Gehi is also an option to consider. 4.5 million. Anderson, Joachim Anderson is also a good one. Crystal Palace has a few good fixtures. So these are the ones. Lee says, I have Perisic. Should I keep or get Dyer? Lee, to be honest with you, I would keep Perisic for this week and roll the transfer. And I think Perisic is going to start against Everton. And I would consider after this week, what to do with Perisic, to be honest with you. I don't think this is a sideways transfer, so I think you should avoid making the transfer as much as possible. You know, because I mean, Dyer against Manchester United for game week 12. I'm not sure if you should be like spending a transfer there. Even if Perisic gets 30 minutes against United, I would still keep Perisic. This is that kind of a time of the season, you know, blank game week. Is Castagna nailed? Well, I mean, if he's fit, I think he starts. Yes, nailed on. I mean, he's playing most of the games ever since he's come back. You know, like the thing is, he got taken off at 66 minutes against Bournemouth, and that is the reason he locked his clean sheet. After that, Leicester conceded 2 goals, but Castagna had already locked his clean sheet by then. Yeah, so I think he should be fine, but I'm not sure. Like, what do you expect from a 4.4 million defender? Is that's the whole issue here, you know? So I think he should be good enough. Should I do Sterling to Mount? Anis, I don't think you should, unless you need the money. I don't think this transfer needs to be made. I think Sterling is a good option, especially the fans expecting him to start. You know, I think if you have Sterling, if you don't need the money, I don't think I think you should just keep Sterling. You know, unless obviously you want to invest elsewhere. CAV says perfect. Was looking at Anderson anyway. Think I'll go for him. Anderson, you know, has he has a couple of goals. He you know, has the assist potential as well with the long passes he plays to Zaha, especially on the counter attack. So looks pretty good. Michael says, hey, would you go for Tony for Mitrovic? I like Michael, if you don't have any other transfers to make, I think Tony for Mitrovic makes sense to me, because the fixtures for Brentford, they look decent, if not the best, till game week 16. So they have decent fixtures. I think Tony, you know, 90 minutes playing striker at this moment in time is a luxury, to be honest with you, and I would love to have him. If I didn't have problems with James, possibly could have thought about that transfer myself. Sully says, hey, who could I replace for Alexander-Arnold? To be honest with you, Sully, it depends on what your team structure looks like. If you could tell me your team or the defense you own, then it would be easier for me to answer that question. You're always welcome, Michael. Thank you so much, my friend. So, guys, again, for anybody, CAV says, I think I prefer Dello to Anderson, but 4 yellows is putting me off. That's absolutely true. To be honest with you, I actually posted on Twitter. By the way, guys, if you don't follow me on Twitter, I would recommend... just hang on, let me see if I can find. Yeah, I actually tweeted out this tweet today in which I actually showed that, you know, all the players on yellow cards, which are on 4 yellows, and you can imagine, guys, like Jesus and Maddison, they're both on 4 yellow cards, along with Dello and Smith from Bournemouth. The others are not that heavily owned, so Harrison Reed, maybe somebody owns them, but Jesus and Maddison are the ones which I really have my eyes on. So be careful, guys. I mean, don't get players with 4 yellow cards at this point in time. It's you know, Maddison, I really hope he can avoid a yellow card, otherwise it's going to be a big problem for game week 12, guys. And you know, so really hope Maddison just keeps calm and doesn't get a yellow card this week. Gabriel Jesus is blanking anyway, so Sarfro says, hi Wiz, I'm not sure if it makes sense KDB to Foden. Sarfros, honestly, if you are making this transfer this game week, I would not do it. I think this game week you should possibly, if you want, you can think about KDB to somebody like Jared Bowen. Because Foden is blanking next way anyway, and then you're going to have another problem on your, you know, because your play is going to blank. So be a little wary about that if you're going to make that transfer. I personally wouldn't. Not this week. Maybe in 13, but not this week. Anis says play 2 from Almiron, Andreas, Trippier and Cucurella. Oh, which one would I play? I mean, Chelsea play against Chelsea have not a bad fixture against Aston Villa away, but would I play Cucurella? I possibly wouldn't. Andreas and Almiron, maybe, I'd say. If you want, you can play Andreas and Trippier or Andreas and Almiron. That's what I would do. I expect Chelsea to concede against Aston Villa. I don't know, but this I still won't play Kukurea. I'm not sure. With the Chelsea defense, that's just makeshift at the moment. Not sure if Chilwell starts. Not sure what's happening there. If he plays at the third right centre back, Graham Potter. I'm not able to second guess Graham Potter at the moment. Sully says James, Cancelo, Arnold, Nico Williams, Brandon. Who's this B Williams? Is it Brandon Williams? How many Williams are there? Oh, Brandon Williams is on loan to Norwich, isn't he? I might be wrong, guys, but I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, I think you can think about somebody like, again, a Spurs defender you can consider, because you've got a problem with Brandon Williams as well, my friend. So get somebody who starts every game. You can think about going for somebody like Dunk or Webster from Brighton. At least they start all the games. At this moment in time, focus on players who are starting. So you need to kind of get those players with minutes, like guaranteed minutes. So focus on that. CAV says, please, not this week matters. We need you next week. Absolutely. I'm thinking of captaining him. I hope he doesn't get a yellow card. Otherwise, I'm going to be in a big problem. Should I bring in Castagna or Gehi? I mean, they both got good fixtures. The problem with Leicester is they can't just seem to buy a clean sheet at the moment. Otherwise, Castagna has an attacking threat as well. The fixtures are good too. I mean, it is all about risk reward, my friend. Razat says De Bruyne to Foden, Mitrovic to Kane. Good move. And Mitrovic to Kane. Razat, you know that Foden's blanking next week, right? So why don't do De Bruyne to Bowen, Jared Bowen, and Mitrovic to Kane? That way you'll have like one extra player next week and one less problem to deal with. Surfer says, thanks, I appreciate you. Always welcome, Surfers. Start Neko or Cancelo. Michael, come on, you can't be serious. Start Cancelo, my friend. Neko Williams is not even nailed on to start. Serge Aurier is already taking his spot. So definitely start Cancelo, bro. If you own Cancelo, start him. Christian says, would you do James for Dyer or Perisic? I would do him for Dyer. The reason, because I don't think Perisic can play 3 games in 1 week. Because I think Dyer is nailed on, still has a goal threat from headers and stuff. Sometimes takes a free kick, but not anymore with Kane taking them. But I still feel that, at this moment in time, we should be looking for more nailed on players. Alazar says, who to start out of Mitrovic, Sofal, Andreas or Mings? If I was you, I'd start Andreas, my friend. Mayo says James to Doherty or Dyer. Again, this is not a question for me to answer, guys, because it's just that James Doherty is not gonna be nailed on until game week 16. So if you want to make a short-term decision for the next 1-2 game weeks, then Doherty is definitely the one to go for, because he has the more attacking threat. If you want a more nailed-on player, then Dyer. Aaron says, hey Wiz, updates on Mitrovic and Reece James. Reece James is, they say, out for the long term, but we won't get a confirmed news until he sees a doctor or something like that later on in the week. So with Mitrovic, I think he's going to do his first training today. I don't expect him to start against Bournemouth, but there is a slight chance that he comes back for the Thursday game. But the thing is, we won't have any updates. I don't think we're going to have a press conference before the start of the game week 12. So if you're keeping Mitrovic, you'll still be in the darkness come the game week 12 deadline, whether he starts or not. So you have to be careful there. Barry says, sell James and Cancelo, prepare for 12, a little more, I'll get Cancelo back. Barry, it's better to keep Cancelo, just sell James. If you want to take a -4, take a -4 next week when you have more information, and that way you get to keep Cancelo as well, my friend. So in my opinion, sell James, keep Cancelo. Also you might have some value tied in Cancelo, with the price rises and stuff. You'll lose value in Cancelo too, so be careful. Pedro, my friend, I hope you're doing well, and I hope the little one is doing well, guys. Pedro's recently entered parenthood, so many congratulations, Pedro. He says, hi, we've missed 6 of the 10 deadlines, but hanging in there inside the top 1 million. That's great. I mean, if You're having a chilled out FPL season inside the top 1 million and missing 6 deadlines. That's pretty cool, Pedro. Everybody's fine, my friend. I hope the same for you. Salam says it's your final lineup. No, this is not my final lineup, Salam. I'm going to make one transfer. Hopefully, I'm going to take out Reece James for somebody. What's your captain shout, Wiz? Do you think Kane against Everton at home has a higher ceiling than Haaland against Liverpool? That is true, FPL Jug. I agree with you. I think Kane is a great option as well. I personally am just don't want to take this risk going against the expected ownership. Effective ownership, not expected. But I think owning Kane in itself is a good, good differential kind of thing, because I think he's 20% owned, maybe. Yeah, 20% owned. I think it's good to own Kane in itself. Don't want to take too much of a risk going against the effective ownership, my friend. Otherwise, I think if anybody wants to go for Kane captain, definitely. But the risk against 200% effective ownership you're gonna be going. Babin says, I'm doing Reece plus Patterson to Anderson plus Webster in 2 weeks. Which one to get first for this week, Webster or Anderson? To be honest with you, Babin, I don't expect either of them to keep a clean sheet. Neither Anderson, neither Webster. So you can get any of those first. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. If you ask me, I think Brighton defender first makes more sense, personally, to me. Lee says, hi Wes, have you made a transfer? No, Lee, I haven't made my transfer yet. I'm gonna make my transfer in the next 15 minutes, so hopefully you stick around, bro. Jovan says, unless Mitrovic gets a cameo against Bournemouth, we won't get any news on him until game. Exactly. The reason for getting no news on Mitrovic is because, guys, they've got a late game in game week 12, so the Marco Silva press conference will not come before the deadline, and therefore no news on Mitrovic. So all we have would have is speculation. So hopefully he gets a few minutes against Bournemouth, so we know he's fit enough to play. Then we can be sure that he's going to start or at least get some minutes. Otherwise, no. Rafa says, hi, there's no transfer this week. No, there's going to be a transfer. I just not made it now, my friend. I will make it soon. Pedro says, I have 5 City Arsenal players. Thinking of keeping Cancelo, Haaland, Martinelli, Jesus and selling Ederson. Thoughts on a replacement that isn't Pope? Have 2 Newcastle... Nottingham City defenders. Oh, interesting. Pedro, to be honest with you, I would sell Jesus as well. And, if you want to sell Ederson, that's absolutely fine. So I think you can personally, I think you can keep Cancelo, Haaland, Martinelli and sell Jesus and Ederson. The replacement, I think, can be Gaita. The replacement can also be, if you want to go for Lloris, if you have that, the appetite of getting a premium keeper. Otherwise, I think Gaita or just a second here. Gaita, Lloris. These are the ones which I really like. Otherwise, after game week 16 you get unlimited transfers anyway. Until then, I think Gaita can be the one you can go for, Pedro. Jesus, why I'm telling you to transfer him out is because he's got 4 yellow cards, 1 yellow card is out, and he's blanking in game week 12 as well. So even though he might score some points in game week 11, but I think long term it makes sense to kind of get somebody like Tony, who's going to be more nailed on, starts every game week, is going to give you some points as well. So I hope I answered your question, Pedro. If you have any doubts, just hit me up, bro. Oh, Pedro says I meant Newcastle defenders. Good advice on Jesus and Gaita and Lloris. I think Gaita is the one to go for, to be honest with you, Pedro. And if you got 2 Newcastle, then obviously Pope is out of the question. I think go for Gaita and get somebody like Ivan Toney. If you want to be a little bit more adventurous, you could go for Skamaka. But knowing that you're missing deadlines, I think Toney is the one to go for, to be honest with you. SD, should I transfer out James or play one of Gay or Justin, and whom to transfer? I mean, SD, if you don't really have to make a transfer, then you can keep James on the bench, but you should know that he might be out for the long term. So, I might drop in price as well. So you can cover that by selling James and getting somebody else. That's the issue. If you want to transfer him out next week, getting 2 free transfers for the blank, that is also a good play, because That way you'll have more information. James to Anderson or the other defender. I think Anderson is the better one is better than Gehi. He's got better attacking stats. FPL Sam says 2 free transfers done, both ultra differentials. I know you got Doherty, my friend. I just know it. I know how you roll, FPL Sam. FPL Jack says Madison captain did the trick for me with his 18-pointer, got me to 19k. I'm not going to perform any more stunts and henceforth Captain Helen. Well, that's the way to go, Jugs. You play your cards at the right time, and yep, that's absolutely the right way to go. Sell Tony and Trent for Kane and Dyer. I would keep Tony, my friend. Just sell Trent for Dyer, I think. No need to get... I mean, if you want to get Kane, that is absolutely fine, but this is not essential, because Tony is a player who's going to start in Game Week 12 as well. So you might want to, reset and, prepare the team for until Game Week 16. If you want Kane till Game Week 16, then definitely you can make this move. Otherwise, you can just save a transfer and just sell Trent. Sully says Salah for Eze from Crystal Palace to get Kane. Yeah, I mean, Eze, yeah, you can go for Eze if you want to. Not really considered Eze ever for my team, because I was always I was always going to go for Zaha from Palace, but yeah, why not? I mean, Eze is starting all the games, playing well, scored a goal. You can definitely go for Eze. Thakif says, hi, what's the plan for next blank game week? I think I'm gonna keep my City and Arsenal players. Maybe, just maybe, if I am in the mood to kind of take a little bit of a risk, I might transfer out Foden and get him back in 13. But I think I'm gonna have to fight with fires anyway, because Patterson is injured, and not sure about Mitrovic. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna have the luxury of kind of making the hokey cokey with Foden. So hopefully I'm gonna end up keeping all my City and Arsenal players. That's what I think at the moment. FPL Sam says yes, Doherty is it. I knew it, my friend. I always knew it, and that's the good move to make, my friend. I wish I had. I wish I can muster enough courage to make the same transfer. I've been thinking at the back of my mind. Still not clear to me whether which one I want to go for. So yeah, hopefully I'm gonna make the right transfer. I like the Wolves defense, FPL Jug, and they've been linked with Nuno Espirito Santo coming back to Wolves. If he comes back, I think they're gonna get a boost, and so he was really good for them. Was Espirito Santo. So I'm hoping for the best. Yeah. Just give me a second here, guys. I mean, if you want to go for a Wolves defender, by the way, guys, the one you have to go for is Kilman, because he's nailed on starting all the games. So Kilman is the one to go for if you kind of want to go for a Wolves defender. That's the thing. Razat says Bowen or Trossard. Bowen to face Liverpool in Game Week 12. Trossard looks good to me. Yes, definitely. Long term, I think Bowen can obviously match Trossard, even outperform Trossard. But for the next 2 weeks, I think yes, you can definitely go for Trossard. Bikalu says, I've got 2 free transfers. Forgot deadline was today. What should I do with Mitrovic and James or the other? I think keep Mitrovic, sell James. At least, roll the transfer and then make a decision on Mitrovic before Game Week 12. If you still had a wildcard, would you use it this week or would you wait? Todd, I think I would make my transfers to dead end in Game Week 12, and then I would use it before Game Week 13 to make a strong team for the next 3 game weeks. Otherwise, technically speaking, right now it wouldn't make much sense to me to use it now, especially with City and Arsenal players blanking, and you wouldn't know what to do with them, and getting a weak team or to kind of having to circle around that blank. So better to dead end your team, make exciting transfers, get somebody like Doherty, get somebody like Kane, Son, whatever you like, just Trossard, and then dead end your team in Game Week 12 and play your wildcard in 13 for the next 3 weeks, because that's all there's left to do. Who are you replacing James with? Aaron, you still got 10 minutes to find out. Should I do Gabriel to Doherty? You can, yes. I was Zaha, Madison, Martinelli, Bowen, Trossard. Which one to bench? None. Play all of them. There's no one to bench out of them. If you want to bench one, then I don't know which one to bench. I would play all of them. Sully says, or I could be crazy and get Ronaldo because his score is 700 goals. Well, that's totally up to you, my friend. I wouldn't go there. Best 4.4 million defender. Best 4.4. I think Justin. You can go for Justin. I think Gehi is Gehi still 4.4. There's not best 4.4 million defenders, but I mean, if you want to go for one, I think Castania, Justin, and Gehi are your options, bro. Any stats on Leicester defense? It's horrible. The Leicester defense is horrible. There's no stats on the Leicester defense, but it's not good. The only thing is they've got good fixtures, so you can expect them to keep an odd clean sheet. They did against Nottingham Forest, so hit and hope. That's all there is with the Leicester defense, my friend. Kane or Solanke, if I sell Jesus and James for a -4, I can bench Martinelli, Cancelo, Haaland, and sell Saliba next week. I think Kane, if you can get Kane, Barry, I think Kane's the one to go for. Will Wolves 8 Nouri play? No, I don't think he's nailed on 8 Nouri. Nope. He's not nailed on. He's on and off, so don't get 8 Nouri, my friend. So just be very... Just a second, guys. I thought I got a message, but I don't think we're gonna get any early team news today, are we? I believe this is the Brighton team. Oh, that's his FPL Boona. Nah, no early team news. Just a second. No. Nah. No news. I don't think we're gonna get any Brighton team news or anything. But Brighton team is already confirmed, so it's not like that we really need the Brighton team news. Todd, you're always welcome, my friend. Barry says, I already answered that. Anis says, is Doherty gonna play the next game week too? Well, it seems he is. I mean, Paul O'Keefe, which is the Tottenham journalist, he said that he expects him to stay. Patterson to Webster for a -4. I mean, if you don't have 11 players, you can do this. Otherwise, this move can wait till next week as well. I mean, it's not that you have to make this move now, my friend. So that's the only catch here. Otherwise, I don't have any real problems there. I think that is a perfectly good move to make, So what I'm thinking here is whether to go. So let me go to my transfers page and start brainstorming for my own team as well. So basically, James is to go out. For who is the question? The thing with getting Doherty is, I mean, Doherty is playing Manchester United next week. I don't expect him to keep a clean sheet at all. So that's the problem with getting Doherty. Long term, until 16, I think Doherty looks okay. Not sure if how many games he's going to start, especially with Emerson Royale coming back. So that's the only doubt in my mind. Otherwise I have to consider it. Best 4.5 million defender. Gomez is fine, yeah, definitely. If you want to go with a Liverpool defender, I think Gomez, you're getting a Liverpool defender for 4.5 million. I don't see any problem with Gomez. But the thing is, the fixtures are, at least the next fixture with Manchester City is why people might be avoiding getting Gomez. But technically speaking, I don't see any problems with getting Gomez. I think it's a good option, absolutely good option. I have Trippier, Justin, and Nico. Nico Williams is not nailed on. Trippier and Justin are fine. Best 4.5 million, I already said. Like, Joachim Anderson is good enough, I think, replacement. Because has good fixtures until game week 16, you know. So, not expect Crystal Palace to keep too many clean sheets, but I think it's going to be good enough. Start Pascal Gross, Andreas, or 8 Nouri, or use my transfers James to Doherty. I think James to Doherty should be done, irrespective of whether you want to start him or not. But if I had to start one of them, I'd start Pascal Gross. Has not been that effective recently, so you can start Pascal Gross or Andreas. 8 Nouri, definitely not. Saifuddin says, should I transfer out Tony Mitrovic for Kane? I think Kane will go big this week. I think then if you want to get Kane, then go for Mitrovic. Tony is a nailed-on player. Mitrovic is still injured. Then obviously I think Mitrovic has to go for Kane. Nico Williams plus a 4.4 million defenders, or Tompkins plus Webster. Nico Williams is not nailed on anymore. That's all I can say here, my friend. I just don't like the options of Tompkins as well, but you know, that's the issue. Arnold or James replacement. I don't understand the question. Apex, can you be more clear? I think I need to make my transfer as well. Just give me a second, guys, here. I hope this doesn't end up being a trumpet, because that's not what I'm kind of intending today. I want to do this easily. So the considerations are obviously, guys, like Doherty is the attacking, you know, like exciting and attacking option, especially with Paul O'Keefe confirming that he's going to start the next 2 weeks. Seems exciting, you know. The problem again is next week I'm gonna be in for a problem. That's the whole issue. Kane or Jesus this week? I realized I can -4 next week as well, so still go forward with the same plan. Exactly, Barry. That's exactly what I was trying to tell you, my friend. Kane or Jesus this week? Bro, if you have Kane and Jesus, I mean, you should play both of them. I don't think there's an either or situation between Kane and Jesus. Play both, honestly. There is no either or situations here, bro. The issue again, to replace James, I'd have to transfer in Kane for Jesus. I think you can keep Jesus against Leeds, my friend. You know, then you can transfer him out next week as well. If you want to get Kane, if you really like want to get Kane, then you can definitely go for Kane as well. I don't think there's gonna be like a problem with getting Kane. I think he has a really good record against Everton as well, Kane. So no problems there. Start Trippier or Webster? Trippier, I think. Trippier, you know, obviously is the attacking threat with, you know, with the free kicks and stuff. And Newcastle are, you know, just overall a better team at this moment in time. You know, Trippier has the attacking threat. A defender with an attacking threat should always be preferred with a defender with, you know, with less attacking threat, I'd like to say. So let's say I want to get Brighton defender, right? So Webster and Dunk is my doubt. Let's just a second, guys. I need to kinda go to Opta player heat maps. Maybe not the best time to do it, but you know, what's gotta be done is gotta be done, guys. defenders from Brighton. Dunk. Player number 2 is Webster. Alright. So 22 points, 72, 2 bonus, 0 bonus for Webster. Okay. So this guy is obviously more attacking than Dunk. You can see Webster is playing much more attacking. Dunk is obviously less attacking. 4 shots, 7 shots. Just give me like 2 minutes, guys. My transfer will be made. So Dunk has 4 shots. Webster's got 7 shots. Obviously no goals for either of them. Alright. Average position, obviously Webster is gonna have a higher position than Dunk because he plays, you know, on the side. So here are the stats. So obviously 0 goals, but XG is 0.4, 7 shots to 4 shots on target, shots in the box. Everything is more than Dunk. I don't know why my mind tells me to go for Dunk. Attempted assists, big chances created, crosses, everything. Like Webster totally dominates in all the fields, and he, you know, I think he costs less than Dunk, does he? Yeah, Dunk is 4.6, Webster is 4.5. Right, so it comes down to Dunk versus Leicester. Start Pope or Ward? I would start Pope. Achatan says hi, Viz. Johnny of Wolves or a Brighton defender? They're both good, Achatan. You can go for any of them. Dyer or Doherty? Don't worry. I'm gonna make my transfers, guys. I still have 8 minutes to go. Don't worry about it. No trumpets, guys. I'm absolutely relaxed. Cool, calm, composed. You know, just take a chill pill, guys. The transfer is gonna be made without too much hitches. You know, the only decision is Dunk or Webster. I mean, you can make this decision for yourself, guys. I mean, it's not like there's much between them. I'm just trying to see why my mind tells me to go for Dunk, but the stats are telling me to go for Webster. You know what I mean? It's because I have a history with Dunk. I've already owned him for some of the, you know, a couple of goals he scored. Other than that, I don't see much difference. I'm gonna make a transfer, guys. Don't worry about it. Just give me just a minute. So this is my option. I'm not going. Finally decided not going for a Spurs defender. If I want to get a Spurs defender, then I'm possibly, yeah. I mean, I could go for a Spurs defender this week and get a Brighton defender next week as well. That option is also open, by the way. So if I go for Doherty and get but the thing is, yeah, I think I'll just go for a Brighton defender. So which one, guys? Webster or Dunk? This is the question now. Appearances, shots. I've already done this, by the way. I mean, I'm just checking it once again. Webster is just looking more attacking. I don't know why, but for some reason. I'm starting Andreas. I'm not starting Mitrovic. Veltman doesn't have. I personally wouldn't go for Veltman, to be honest with you. I think he's not as nailed on as the others. Same with Estupian, Mitoma, I think, again, as Gio11 mentioned, Mitoma is coming into the equation at Brighton. What makes me stop to go for Webster? My mind is kind of not like telling me to go for Dunk. Why? Not sure. Just need to think a little bit. So, is Gehi plus? No, I think Anderson is better. Shall I start Pope or Ward, please? I would start with Pope. I already answered that, my friend, guys. Please. Just I already answered that question. Just give me a second here. I need to make my transfer, but I've got people waiting for me to make my transfer, guys. Don't want to let them down. Don't transfer Pope out. Just play him. Why do you want to transfer out Pope? Dunk. Got a minimal threat. Absolute minimal threat. But I know, like, as soon as I kind of... Whichever one I go for, I know the other one's gonna goddamn score. Doesn't have bonus. What about the threat? Minimal. Let's just go for dunk then, I'd say. Maybe because of the history. I don't know, guys. I'm just more of a traditionalist. My mind tells me that Webster is having the better chances, but still, why am I going for dunk? I'm making my decision now. Don't worry about it, my friend. Just give me a second. It's gonna be done. Right, let's go to the transfers page, guys. Let's make the decision. Play Billing or Mitrovic. Start Billing. Start Billing. I've gone for Romero. GW11, that's absolutely fine, my friend. I wish I had gone for a Spurs defender, but maybe next week, or maybe I'm gonna keep my options open. Right. Dunk or Webster. That's the last decision I want to make. Start 2, Dunk, Grove, Trippier or Andreas. Andreas and Trippier. Alright, no more answers. Quick. I'm gonna go with Dunk. I'm a traditionalist, I just love the players that I've owned. He's the captain. Alright, captain. Fantastic. Let's do this. Webster, Dunk. Webster, Dunk. What is... Come on. Come on. Make this... What's stopping you? Yeah. Is this gonna make too much of a difference? No. Then listen to your heart. Alright. Dunk comes in. Mitrovic on the bench. Yeah. Haaland, captain. Kane, vice captain. Patterson, Iverson. I hope you can see my team, guys. I think this should be it. Not playing Mitrovic. Dunk. Trippier, Cancelo, Pope, Martinelli, Madison. Yes, guys. So hopefully didn't make you. You still got 2 minutes to make your transfers. By the way, I'd never recommend you to copy my team, guys. It's it's not like I have the perfect decision, or I always make the perfect decisions. Make mistakes like the rest of you. Just we discuss here. We give opinions. We talk to each other. We help each other build a stronger team, and that's what this community is about. Girid says I got Anderson. Shall I transfer out Pope as I already have Trippier? I don't think so, my friend. Dyer or Doherty fast. Short term Doherty, long term Dyer. If you want to keep till Gameweek 16, then go for Dyer. If short term, then go for Doherty. Quickly lock your teams, guys. We don't have much time. I'm going to refresh my team. Lock your teams, guys, please. All of you. Now is not the time to be asking questions, guys. Come on. You're leaving it too late. Good luck, everyone. Started Anderson over Henry. I think that's fine. Oh, not Henry. Henry. And the Arsenal fans are in a habit of saying Henry. But yeah, guys. So this is the team. This is the final decision. The problem is going to be next week. I'll gonna have to either like 3 players out with like Patterson, Nico Williams, Mitrovic, and the 4 players. Which are in the team. They're going to be injured, so are going to be not having a fixture. So Thierry would be in my team if he's in the game. Absolutely, my friend. So basically, guys, now you see this is the problem with this current team, if you say. Like Mitrovic, we're not sure if he's gonna be fine. Neko Williams, we don't know if he's gonna start. And then Patterson is obviously injured. And then 4 of my players which I own don't have a fixture next week. So and I have just 1 free transfer. So basically fighting fires, or going with a 9-man or a 10-man team next week is a real possibility, it looks like, guys. What I want to say is that I think next week captaincy is going to be very important. If you can nail down your captain, I think still limit the damage to minimum. Sully says last minute drama, thanks Luck. Cheers mate, I hope you enjoyed it. Makhani or Pasanda. I like both of them. I like makhni more, my friend. In North India we eat a lot of butter, so yeah, makhni definitely. Anyways, guys, so I have some time on my hands tonight. If you want, we can do a quick prediction, because I've not been doing predictions for the last two times or last 2 streams. So yeah. Riddhi Pratim says has asked a very relevant question. Actually, it's the best captain option for next week. Honestly, I think this is a very relevant question. It's just like next week I think Brighton have Nottingham Forest at home, and I seriously feel that Trossard deserves a shout. I feel Trossard deserves a shout. If I change the fixtures, will this page disappear? No. Right. So let's just discuss the captaincy first for next week, and then I'll come back and do the predictions, because I think this is more relevant. Brighton versus Nottingham Forest. I think Trossard is the best captaincy option from this fixture, and generally is one of the better captaincy options for game week 12, right? Crystal Palace versus Wolves. Obviously, Wolves don't concede a lot of goals, but now their manager's gone. I'm not sure how they're going to respond. But technically speaking, Wolves have never conceded too many goals in the Premier League ever since they've been promoted. One odd match can be different, but generally they don't concede too many goals. So we can't obviously captain Zaha. But if anybody wants to captain from Crystal Palace, obviously Zaha is the man to go for, because he's on penalties as well. From Bournemouth, Southampton, obviously no clear captaincy option unless you want to go for Solanke, which obviously I don't own and I wouldn't captain if I owned. Brentford versus Chelsea, no captaincy options here. Maybe if somebody owns Sterling, Mount, but I personally wouldn't captain from Chelsea. Liverpool versus West Ham, obviously if you own Mohamed Salah or Darwin Núñez, or even somebody like Jota, I think this is the fixture where the difference could be made this game week. When like Manchester City is blanking, and people who don't own Salah like me, this is the fixture in which like difference can be made. So Darwin Núñez could be the one to go for, guys. And captain, if you don't own Salah, then you can think about Darwin Núñez, Jota, and captain him in this fixture. Obviously, if you own Salah, there's a no-brainer, just captain him. Newcastle versus Everton. I think this is a fixture in which there's gonna be a good game, but I don't see any captainable option. Maybe if you own Callum Wilson, yes, you can captain Callum Wilson from here. Manchester United versus Spurs, obviously wouldn't captain anybody from this game, because I think it's going to be a very tight game. United are improving. Spurs are obviously resilient under Conte. But obviously if you have Kane, then you can think about captaining, but I wouldn't. Fulham, Aston Villa, no. Leicester versus Leeds. Again, if Maddison can survive without a yellow card in game week 11, then James Maddison could very well become an option here, against Leeds. If Mitrovic was starting here, guys, if Mitrovic was fit, was starting the last weeks, I think he could have been a captaincy option in this fixture. So I'd say overall, I've discussed most of the options. So I'd say Trossard, I really like. Zaha obviously not the best, but if you don't own Trossard, you can. Personally, this is the fixture in which the captaincy is going to come from. most of the people who own Liverpool assets. For somebody like me who doesn't, we'll have to make do, either get a Liverpool player next week or just captain somebody like Maddison, or get Trossard and captain him. So these are the options. I hope I answered the question, my friend. Todd says, Smelly Web, what is your team? And he says, hearing Mount didn't train today. All right. Salah, Trossard and Zaha, says GW11. Well, that's pretty close to what I just discussed. I'd say Maddison is also is also a captaincy option. It all depends on how Leeds kind of set up and how they play. They don't concede a lot of goals, but I think Maddison has the quality to, and he's been proving that since the past few game weeks, even since the tail end of last season. Riddhi says, thanks a ton, Viz. You're always welcome, my friend. Here we answer the questions in detail because that's what we want to do here. Smelly Web says, Todd, I can't check it, my memory is rubbish. No worries, Smelly Web, that's how you chill, my friend. That's called Zen, innit? FPL Sam says, Mo Salah. FPL Sam, do you own him? Do you have Mo Salah? If you have him, then obviously it's your lucky time. I wish I owned him in Gameweek 12, but I don't. So yeah, have to make do. There you go. I'm tempted to move on Kane for Salah, but then I have to kind of, for me it's the problem, I don't have 2 free transfers. If I had 2 free transfers, then I could get Salah, but I don't, so I'm possibly not gonna have Salah. Neil says, Viz, I got on the Doherty train too. Wow, nice, Neil. That's interesting, my friend. As you know, Neil, I'm a boring FPL manager, a very boring FPL manager. So I again just brought in Dunk. And what was the last minute dilemma? It was whether to go for Webster or Dunk. So things we roll differently, in the Wizard House. Well, we make safe decisions, and obviously most of the time we suffer. But Neil says, I told you it's gonna be Dunk for you. Yep, you did, absolutely. Giovanni says Doherty is a great punt when you're wildcard in Game Week 13. Absolutely, that's exactly what I told Todd as well. Like anybody who still has their wildcard, you can experiment. You can bring in somebody like Son. You can bring in somebody like Doherty. You can go for Trossard and all these options. I mean, Welbeck, for example, against Nottingham Forest. If I was like, if I had my wildcard in Game Week 13, I would bring in Welbeck for Game Week 12. Just to experiment, just to take a risk. That's how you kind of gain on ranks, by bringing in these players for one fixture and then you wildcard and take them out. So, this is just safe is better than carnage in Middle Earth. Yep, especially when the Wraiths are coming, and Frodo still has the ring, and I'm waiting for him to kind of reach Mount Doom. And already seems like Mount Doom is closing in, and Game Week 12 is the Mount Doom. But FPL Sam says Doherty and Solanke for me. Will sell Doherty next game week if no concerns. That's absolutely fine. FPL Sam, that's the way you roll, that's the way you play, and I absolutely trust your instincts, my friend. You always do well with these punts, so never change, my friend. In Gandalf we trust, says Nehal. Absolutely, my friend. Gandalf the White. Or Gandalf the Grey. Anyways, so guys, let's do some quick predictions before we can call an end to the stream. Been a pretty healthy one, guys. A lot of questions, a lot of answers. I think they all revolved around James and Mitrovic, and most of these questions were around like captaincy, Game Week 12 blank, and we covered a lot of them in a lot of detail. So let's just finish a healthy stream with predictions, and then we can call it a day. So Brentford versus Brighton, guys, gonna be an interesting game. The team news should be out in 20 odd minutes. I don't think there's gonna be any surprises in either of the teams. Both of the teams are just set on their players. Most of them are just 90-minute players for them. With Brighton, they have a few like dilemmas in which I already answered. Like Estupian, their left back, can be replaced with Mitoma, because I think he played really well against Spurs. Even if he doesn't replace him this game week, I think Estupian's place could be in a little bit of a danger with Mitoma. And other than that, I think this pretty much pretty much the teams pick themselves. I think it's going to be a very interesting game. I don't think Brighton are going to keep a clean sheet, even though I own Dunk. I'm not reluctant to say this. I think Brighton are not going to keep a clean sheet. I think it's going to be 1-2. I think Brighton going to win this game 1-2. Brentford going to score a goal. I think Ivan Toney is going to score a goal, but Brighton going to win this game 1-2. Johan says 3-2 to Brentford. Very interesting. FPL Sam says 1-1. That's interesting. 3-2 to Brighton, says Light Rays. Wow. It's interesting that nobody's able to kind of call this fixture one way or another. Yes, Brentford is they beat United 4-0 and they beat a few teams in their stadium, but I think Brighton are in a very good form, a rich vein of form at this moment in time. Even the way they played against Spurs were lucky to come with all 3 points in that fixture. Barry says 2-1 to Brentford. Wow, no predictions match each other, and no predictions matches with my prediction either. So guys, this is going to be an interesting one way or another. I hope it's fine. Todd says 1-0 to Brighton. This is going to be an ideal result for me, and that goal should be scored by Dunk. That's gonna be the icing on the cake. I would absolutely love that, but not gonna happen. Nahal has the same prediction as me. At least we got one prediction that is the same as me. 2-1 Brighton. Alrighty guys, moving on. Leicester versus Palace. I think this is gonna be a very interesting game to watch because it's just a defenseless Leicester. Just absolutely shambles at this moment in time. Not sure why they're not sacking Brendan Rodgers. Some people say it's because they have to pay him I don't know how many millions to sack him, so they're just sticking with him and waiting until the World Cup arrives, and then they're gonna reinforce in January. So I think this game is gonna be 2-2. 2 goals for Leicester, 2 for Palace. I don't think anybody keeps a clean sheet here, so sorry for all those Justin, Castagna, Anderson, Gahey owners. I don't think anybody gets a clean sheet in this fixture. So 2-2 in my opinion. Nahal says 2-3 to Crystal Palace. Wow, interesting. Giovan says 1-2 to Palace. Very interesting. The severance payout is like 30-40 million. That's insane. Lightra says 2-2. Todd says 2-1 to Leicester. And Barry says 2-2. So very interesting. I mean, Nahal and Giovan are predicting a win for Crystal Palace. Lightra is predicting a draw, just like me. Barry's predicting as well. Todd predicting a Leicester win. Very interesting. FPL Sam the same prediction as me. 2-2. Barnes and Zaha brace. I think you own both of them. Wishful thinking, Sam. I would be happy with the Zaha brace though, but I hope Madison gets in with the act and warms up for Game Week 12 captaincy that I'm thinking about it. Himanshu says, hey, how's it going? It's been a while. Good luck for the week. Hey, Himanshu, it's great to see you, my friend. It's been a while, and we wait for you on these streams. We would love if you'd come and say hello and take some time to. I hope you're doing well in the FPL season, by the way. Let's. Where was I? Yep. Just a second, guys. There you go. So basically, I think 2-2 to Leicester and Crystal Palace should be a fair score in this game. Fulham versus Bournemouth. I think this is gonna be a win for Fulham. Even though Bournemouth won against Leicester and they have been more resilient ever since they got rid of Parker. I think Fulham are still gonna have enough for them, and especially they've been unlucky, Fulham, with some decisions going against them in the past few games, and also the lack of Mitrovic is affecting them badly. The only negative point in this game for all of those who started Andreas Pereira is that Willian is supposedly gonna be back, and he's gonna take some set pieces off Andreas. So let's see how this game goes. I expect Fulham to win 2-1. Let's see what do you guys predict. 2-1 to Fulham, says Giovan. Himanshu says those deadlines are mostly 6 in the morning for me here. Good, it was a late deadline today. All right. Yeah, I get that, my friend. That's the reason I think Nehal mostly doesn't join the streams as well. So I totally understand that. But anyways, it's great of you to come and pay a visit, Himanshu, and thanks for supporting the channel, my friend. Always. Lighter says 2-1 to Fulham. FPL Sum says 1-2 Bournemouth. He owns Solanke, so he wants Bournemouth to win. FPL Sums like always says his wishful scores, my friend. It's just like he wants Barnes to score a brace and Zaha to score a brace, and now he wants Solanke to score a brace. Interesting. But yeah. 2-0 to Fulham, says Barry. Harry Wilson is back as well. That is true. Harry Wilson is back. I'm not sure if he starts the next game, but yeah, him being back is also bad for Andreas. I guess everything is bad for Andreas when we start him. Nail says, I was in a meeting. No worries, my friend. Absolutely no worries. Nail says 2-1 Fulham, Mitrovic late winner. Wow, that would be absolutely insane, wouldn't it be? He's on my bench. I didn't start him. But yes, at least we unanimously say Fulham win, except for FPL Sum. So hope we get it right. Wolves versus Nottingham Forest. I think this is going to be a win for Wolves. Wolves been struggling a little bit, to be honest with you guys. I mean, they lost to Chelsea, they lost to West Ham United, they lost to Manchester City. Obviously, the games are not that easy, but they won against Southampton. What happened in Gameweek 7? Oh, it was a blank. They drew against Bournemouth. So I mean, Wolves have not been in the best of form. But I expect them to win this game by 2-0. I expect them to keep a clean sheet as well. Todd says Bournemouth 1-0. So we've got two people saying Bournemouth win, not one. Niels is on my bench too. I think Forest will get a result here. Wow, interesting. 2-1, says Nehal. Lighter says 2-1 to Wolves. Oh, well, that's very interesting. I mean, you expect Nottingham to score. Nehal actually expects him to win. FPL Sum is the same as me, says 2-0 to Wolves. Diego Costa scoring a brace. Yeah, well, that would be interesting, to be honest with you. I don't really like Diego Costa, especially from his Chelsea days. Really bad experience, especially as an Arsenal fan. But yeah, he's a good striker. On his day, he can do some damage. But yeah, I think Wolves gonna win here. So if Forest win, then definitely shout out to Nehal for calling it. Spurs versus Everton. You know what? Everton were really good against United. I think United were lucky to get that win. They scored both the goals on the counter. Especially because Everton lost two times they lost the ball in the midfield, and United were there to punish them. Once, I think it was Idrissa Gana Gueye who made the error, and Anthony scored the goal, and then I think it was who gave the ball away. I can't exactly remember. Was it Demari Gray or Iwobi? I think Iwobi gave the ball away, and then Casemiro just put in Ronaldo and he scored on the counter. So both goals were counter attacks, but Everton played really well. I expect them to kind of play well against Spurs but lose the game. I think it would be 3-1 to Everton. That's what I feel. Todd says Wolves 1-0. Yeah, very interesting. At least you expect Wolves to keep a clean sheet, so there we're the same. Light Race says 2-1 to Wolves. Light Race is the same as me. He says 3-1 to Spurs. FPL Sum says 2-0 to Spurs. Richarlison haunting his old club. That would be interesting, to be honest with you, right? Richarlison playing against Everton would be very interesting. But from the rumors, they say Kulusevski is back in training, and they're hoping that Kulusevski starts. So if he does start, then I think he's going to be starting in place of Richarlison, because I don't expect Heung-min Son to miss out, especially with scoring a brace in the Champions League. So let's see what happens. Would be very interesting, to be honest with you. Todd says 2-0 to Spurs. So I think this result is well, I said 3-1, but FPL Sum says 2-0. Todd says 2-0, and Light Race says 3-1 to Spurs, and I said 3-1 as well. Emil Drozen says, do you think Mendy or Kepa will start? I think Kepa will start, my friend. I'm pretty sure that Kepa is going to start. I think Graham Potter likes the kind of player Kepa is and how he can play with his feet. That's the way he wants to play, and I think Kepa is going to start. Barry says 3-0 to Spurs. Nehal says 2-0 to Spurs. So I think only me and Light Rays expect Everton to score. Everybody else is predicting a clean sheet for Spurs, and Nehal is predicting a Doherty brace. Nehal, that's gonna be absolutely horrible if that happens for me. But anyways, Doherty is that sort of player. He can on his day definitely get an attacking return. Then in the past, when he used to play for Wolves, many a times I've owned him for his attacking returns. So I hope he doesn't roll back the times because I don't own him. It's a fun pick before the wildcard. Absolutely, Nehal. If I was in your place, I would go for Doherty, and next week I would go for Trossard and Welbeck. I would do that. Absolutely do that. Even would possibly go for a Wolves defender against Nottingham, just to throw in the spice. But anyways, let's move on. Aston Villa versus Chelsea. I think Chelsea gonna win this game, but I feel Aston Villa gonna score a goal. I think this game is gonna end 2-1 to Chelsea. I don't see this game being that easy. I think Gerrard is gonna fight for his job here, and I don't see this as an easy win for Chelsea for some reason. I don't know. It's just a feeling, by the way. Technically speaking, I'm in Chelsea looking strong under Potter. They won easily against Milan. Although I think in the Champions League, I think it was absolutely unfair to send off Tomori for AC Milan. That was a nothing challenge, and the referee was quick to pull out a red card. I was watching that game. It was absolutely nonsense, It spoiled the entire atmosphere. But anyways, we're not talking about the Champions League here. I think Aston Villa scored 1 goal. Chelsea scored 2 goals. Nehal says 2-0 to Chelsea. FPL Sam says 1-3 to Chelsea. Lightrace says 2-1 to Chelsea. Lightrace and me are having the same predictions today. Hopefully, it goes that way. But everybody expects Chelsea to win, so that's unanimous here. Let's move on. Leeds versus Arsenal. Guys, this I want you to predict. I don't want to predict this one because being an Arsenal fan and being on the top of the league, I don't want to jinx Arsenal. I think Arsenal can win against Leeds, to be honest with you. The scoreline don't really want to predict, so it would be better if you in the comments can predict it. Nehal says that was an atrocious red. VAR is there for a reason, yet it manages to affect games negatively. Absolutely, Nehal, I agree with that. It was absolutely horrendous, honestly. I stopped watching the game after that. It was so bad because, once you give a red card at the start of the game, it's essentially you're playing as 10 men for like 60-70 odd minutes. Nketiah brace off the bench, says FPL Sam. 3-1 to Arsenal, says Light Race. 3-1 to Arsenal, says Nehal. FPL Sam says 4-1 to Arsenal. Barry says 3-1 to Arsenal. Cheers, guys. I would absolutely love that. Jesus brace would not be loved that much, but I would enjoy the game. Yeah, no matter who scores, I don't care if I own him in FPL or not. I would absolutely support each and every goal which Arsenal scores. I would absolutely cheer for it. So yeah, I guess let's just say that unanimously Arsenal can beat Leeds. The score could be 2-1, 3-1, depending on the situation. Leeds are a dangerous team, to be honest with you. On their day, they can be very dangerous. And Bamford coming back is can be a thorn in the Arsenal team. I'm telling you this. Manchester United versus Newcastle, guys. This game is going to be very interesting to watch. I'm looking forward to watching this game. Newcastle, a relatively very improved outfit. Manchester United improving under Ten Hag, especially Anthony scoring 1 goal in every game. The last 3 league games he scored 1 goal each in all of them, and it's almost a similar type of goal every time he scores. The same type of goals, just taking the ball on the left hand side, cutting inside, and just rolling it, or just the same, the Aaron Robben type of a finish. So this game is going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw. I'm like going out on a limb and kind of predicting a draw. I think many of you would want a United win. You might be a United fan, but I think Newcastle are really good. I think they can hold United off, and I think it could be a 2-2. Todd says Gunners 2-0. FPL Sam says Manchester United 3-2. Interesting. Barry says 2-0 to Manchester United. Ikem Abel says Bowen to Son. Yep. Well, the deadline's passed, so Nail says 2-1 to Manchester United. Lightrace says 2-2. See, Lightrace and me are having the same predictions today. Absolutely the same. But otherwise, most of you are predicting a United win. And I think obviously you are giving the priority to United because they're playing at Old Trafford, and obviously the crowd is going to be behind them, especially after they've won so many games in the recent past. And definitely there is an advantage. But I think Newcastle, with the improved team, with the improved players and the improved form, they would want to go to a big club and show that they can fight, they can win. And I think Callum Wilson can be a thorn in the Manchester United side. And let's hope that Alan St. Maxima is back, that the game's going to be even better. Todd says 1-1. Interesting. I said 2-2, but I think 1-1 could very well be the result. Neil says, but if you would have seen them play yesterday, Pope will be in bonuses. Well, let's just hoping for the best. I saw them play yesterday, but I mean, Omania is not the kind of team which you kind of, evaluate a United team. I mean, Arsenal played yesterday against Bodo Glimt, and it was a horrible game in which Arsenal could easily have lost. But you don't judge the teams by how they perform in the Europa League. It's just not the same atmosphere, not the same teams. I think Premier League is a different animal altogether, Nehal. But let's see. 12 saves and I'll be happy. I'll be a happy man. Sujat says, hi, I capped Zaha. Hey Sujat, I hope you're doing well, my friend. Well, that's a ballsy move, my friend. I hope it pays off, Sujat. So good luck to you, my friend. So guys, Southampton versus West Ham United. This game, I think Ralph Hasenhüttl is in a bit of a mess right now at Southampton. Not sure if it is Ralph's fault, but not strengthening properly Southampton, I think, is affecting them negatively. I think it's caught up to them eventually. West Ham are improving in form, especially Gianluca Scamacca, Lucas Paqueta, and Jared Bowen. They're forming a very good partnership now. I'm not even sure if Antonio gets a look in, at least for the first 70 minutes now. So even Pablo Fornals is playing really well. I expect West Ham to win this game. Maybe Southampton can score one goal at home. I'm not sure. It's hard. But I think West Ham win this game with Scamacca definitely being amongst the scorers. I hope Bowen stays quiet because I don't own him. Barry says 1-0 to West Ham. Lightrace says 2-1 to West Ham. Southampton 0-0 West Ham, said FPL Sam. Neil says 0-2 to West Ham. Interesting. Neil says there's a clear change of guard for Antonio. Has been a humble servant. That's absolutely true, and it had to be. I mean, Gianluca Scamacca is a different element. He's a player which was heavily wanted by Juventus, by PSG, by even Arsenal were interested in getting Gianluca Scamacca. It's that sort of player, Gianluca Scamacca. So you obviously when you upgrade your striker, you play him. He's that good. Did you see his finish against? Who were they playing last week? I'm not sure, but the finish, I think Fulham, they were playing Fulham, and the finishes were absolutely amazing. And yep. Neil says Scamacca was linked to PSG and could not be done on that. Yeah, absolutely, my friend. Todd says Hammers 1-0. Interesting. So everybody almost predicts a West Ham win. Only me and Lightrace are predicting West Ham to concede a goal. Everybody else thinks they're going to keep a clean sheet. So coming to the last fixture, and the most interesting one, of course, is going to be Liverpool versus Manchester City at Anfield. Now, I know you watched the game midweek in the Champions League where Liverpool scored 7 goals against Rangers. Salah scored a hat-trick, the fastest hat-trick in the Champions League after coming on, and so on and so forth. But I feel that this game is going to be won by Manchester City. I think Haaland is just in such a good form. City are in such a good form. Although I know you're going to say they didn't beat Copenhagen. They drew against Copenhagen, and Liverpool won 7-1 against Rangers. So obviously the tide might have turned. But City played most of the match with 10 men. I mean, that Sergio Gomez got sent off, and there were mitigating factors in that game. Mahrez missed a penalty and whatnot. But I think this game is going to be won by City, but I don't think City are going to keep a clean sheet. So let's just say City going to win this game 2-1. I'm calling this game. It's hard for me to call this game, but let's just call it 2-1. Nehal says 3-3. FPL Sam says 2-5 Manchester City. That's interesting. If that happens, that's going to be good for all of us who have held on to 3 Manchester City assets. Nehal says the only way we get anything out of this game is by scoring goals. That's true. Play the way Liverpool play, the high press, the gegen press, and that's the only way you get. If you kind of sit back and try to defend, especially without Trent, you don't even have an out ball. Earlier he would give you an out ball with the brilliant pass, and counter attack was on. But now you don't even have Trent. You're gonna play Gomez, and Matip is out, so you're gonna have to play Konate. So I think it's going to be a makeshift defense with Gomez, Konate, Van Dijk, and Robertson. So I'm not going to sure how Liverpool are going to fare. Liverpool have been bad, really, really bad. I have to agree, my friend. But Liverpool are Liverpool. They can come back to life anytime. We've seen that. ML says 3-2 to City is always a high-scoring fixture. I mean, yep, that is true. That is true. It could be easily 3-2. Yeah. 4-1 Haaland hat-trick, still haunted by the hat-trick against United. Well, Haaland is the kind of player who can score against anybody. Brighton, no changes, no surprises. Wow, I've been on predictions for the last 20 minutes, guys. I remember when I was starting, I said, whoa, need to. All right, anyways, we got through with the predictions, guys. Let's just quickly, not showing you my, I want to see the team news. Where's the team news? This is Bona. Just a second, guys. Where's the Brighton team sheet? I don't want to see people's teams. Alright. For Brighton. Yeah. Give us the Brighton teams. So Sanchez, Webster, Dunk. Guys, Dunk starts. Anyways. Dunk, March, McAllister, Trossard, Gross, Welbeck, Casiero. Stupian starts. Mitoma's on the bench. Veltman obviously starts. Somebody was asking. Gilmour not getting a chance to play. I mean, he went to Brighton to play under Graham Potter, and Graham Potter ends up coming to Chelsea, and Gilmour ends up sitting on the bench. How unlucky is this guy? Last year went to Norwich, didn't get much minutes, and this season now is stuck at Brighton with Graham Potter at Chelsea. I don't know what's gonna happen with him, but he's obviously a very talented player. So no surprises here, guys. With Brentford, Raya, Janelt, Ayer, Pinnock, Benmi, Henry starts, Jensen, Vissa, Onyeka, Mbumatone. So all the usual suspects they're starting. I hope you can see the team on the screen. No surprises here, guys, and that's good. By the way, if you don't follow me on Twitter, guys, I would really request you to follow me on Twitter at VizFPL. Just helps me a little bit. Back to the screen. Oops, not this one. So one final look at my team, and then we can call it a day. I'm very scared for Gomez and injury returning Konate. I know, I absolutely agree with that. It's going to be hard, especially against City. Neil says he was asked by Burley to stay. Burley was going to sack Tuchel anyways. Yeah, well, it's just unlucky, but I think he's going to come good in the end. He's just too talented for not to come through. So guys, I guess it's been a very healthy stream. We've been streaming for over 1.5 hours, and I feel something. I suggest using a dark mode on Twitter. Yeah, I just, I'm an old-fashioned person. I just don't like changing things, yeah, it's just the way I am. That's the reason I went for Dunk. I mean, I told my thought process on the stream. I said, I know I should be going for Webster. He has all the good stats, but this is just that I have this history with Dunk, and that's the reason I went with Dunk. I mean, it's not the right reason, but sometimes, you do things because you are that sort of person and that suits your temperament. Anyways, it's not important, is it? Neil says, I hope so. I remember him bossing us in a game too. Well, let's see what happens. It's going to be an interesting game week anyways, and the turnaround time suggests that I'm going to be back with you next Wednesday, guys, and next week is a midweek game week. So I hope all of you remember the deadlines and be here with me on the deadline stream so we can have more fun together. Until then, I hope you have a great Game Week 11. I hope you enjoy your time, enjoy watching the games, and take care of your health. And I will see you very soon with another deadline stream. FPL Visit signing out. May the arrows be green. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.